Many people choose to express their generosity during the holiday season with charitable donations. But it turns out this time is also an opportunity for scam artists to take advantage of that kindness. Clayton Young is with AlliedBarton Security Services, and he joins us live this morning with more on how to avoid the most common holiday charity stings. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
This is, I guess, supply and demand, sort of, if you will, because there are a lot of people who feel a little bit more kindly disposed toward charitable giving this time of the year.
Indeed.
That brings out the bad people who are trying to separate you from your hard-earned cash.
Unfortunately, yes. With the holidays approaching, obviously, we're feeling very generous. We're in a giving mood. And the scam artists are obviously preying on that. They're banking on that you're going to be less willing to check them out because you're feeling so generous that they can actually prey on that generosity. And so there are certain things that you need to be aware of, because there are many different types of charities out there, many of whom are really look-alike charities. They're really not legitimate, they're not real, and so we'll talk about some of those.
And that's kind of the key here, is that it's a busy time of the season as well, and they're sort of hoping that you are going to be busy and maybe then not as vigilant. You talk about the Soundalike or the Seem-alike charities. Let's get into that a little bit.
Many times they'll say, for example, I'm from the Cancer Society. What is that, the American Cancer Society or the Diabetes Society? Is that the American Diabetes Association or the Heart Association? Is that the legitimate American Heart Association? So they use names that sound alike, or they actually pretend to be similar to a major well-known organization.
So how can I separate the bad guys from the real charities?
First of all, be patient. Be willing to do some research. And there's one great location where you can find that. The Better Business Bureau has a website, and it's the Wise Giving Alliance that supports this website. It is www.give.org. And so the other thing to be aware of is many of those organizations who pretend to be legitimate, for example, if it's via the email, or if they're trying to solicit you and they give you an email address that is a .com, chances are that's probably not legit, because most of the charitable organizations end with a .org, not a .com.
So right off the bat, that's a good thing. Now, it's not just over the internet or on the phone. You can get these solicitations through the mail. You can get them face-to-face on city streets. All of these things, you have to just suppress that giving instinct a little bit so that you don't get taken. You want that money to do the most good. It's not doing any good if it's going to some front organization.
Indeed, and that's one of the things you need to check out as well. When you do your research, find out where your money is going. What percentage of your dollars are actually going to those in need for charitable purposes? And you can certainly find that out. Again, at the website I gave you, www.give.org, you can find out, but you can also check with your Better Business Bureau. You can also check with all the other agencies that are out there, the consumer protection agencies that are out there as well, to find out what percentage of the dollars actually go to giving, because they're required to file a report every year that really states where the money is going. Is it administration, or is it actually going to those in need?
You see the Salvation Army kettles on street corners and bell ringers and things like that. There are some things in which you can be fairly confident, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing is credentialing. For example, if someone is pretending to be with an organization, they probably will not have the proper identification, the proper credentialing, the proper information. So make sure you check ID. Make sure there is some credential that says that person is representative of that organization, and more importantly, they have legitimate information, pamphlets, handout, and that they know the organization. If you ask a question and they can't give you a legitimate answer, chances are they're not legitimate.
It sounds, it makes a great deal of sense. We just have to take a little bit of time.
Yes, sir.
And make sure that holiday giving does the most good. Give.org, great place to start with all this. Clayton Young of AlliedBarton Security, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Important information.
Indeed.
Happy holidays, too,
Same
by
to
the
you.
way.